mention, well, let's talk about the two loves in his life. You had Angela, and then you had Aman. Um, what was their influence over the music? Or I mean, I think Angela seemed to be weird just to be weird, and Aman was very kind of stabilizing for him. It seemed like.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Angela getting involved in the business meetings and all this fracas with Tony DeFries and all that. So there's a couple of beats along the book. It's 75 different beats. So I recall, what maybe a fifth of the way through, there were a few times when Tony and Angela sort of come up, and they have their son and all that, and obviously it was a really tumultuous relationship. The above board sleeping around thing obviously psychologically got to both of them eventually, and they had their acrimonious a breakup and all that. So yeah, completely different from Iman. He was absolutely smitten with Iman immediately, and at that point I guess he was more or less settling down. And it was cool that she kind of had a good head on her shoulders and was a business person and all that as well. I think maybe it's possible that if his domestic life wasn't so, it seemed to be pretty solid and stable later on, we might not have even gotten as much music as we did get in the end, because there was surprisingly quite a few records at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had forgotten about some of them, so this was good to read. And
Yeah.
I really, I loved her. I loved them together, and it was stabilizing. And I wanted to know more, and it left me wanting more to know more about her and about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I want to think she was a good influence.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. I mean, that one of the challenges of this book was basically, I had to constantly check my word count as I'm going along. So every one of these 75 things had to be within kind of a range to make sure I wasn't overreaching and getting over and above. So yeah, it's you get going on a topic and you're seeing all this research and stuff. It's like the challenge often with these things is how do I squeeze this into 500 words or 700 words, right?
How you even chose the events. The events were great, but I'm sure there were many more.
Well, it was fun. That is always the fun part. I always get mad at bands when they say, "Oh, we had such a hard time getting the name of our band or naming our album." It's like, dude, sit me down for half an hour. I'll give you 75 names in half an hour that are awesome. I love that kind of thing. So when these projects first get put together, I mean, that's my favorite part of the whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, 75. Okay, let's work this out. Let's figure out which ones. And then what happens is you get down to really there's only 5 or 6 or 7 that are up for any dispute at all. And I talk with Dennis and he swaps 2 in and 2 out and whatever, and then we're done, sort of thing. So yeah, no, that's the fun part and the easy part. But